So we have our first one fitting really nice over here. So we need two of them, one on each side of the window. And then I need to redo it because the bottom, it's going to get longer because we have this edge here. So we're going to have to account for that. So it's very tedious doing these supports. I had to go back and forth checking it about 5 times. And what I've found out is, because usually you're just, once you get the initial edge, then it's a matter of taking off just a little bit, maybe a 1/16 of an inch on one edge and 0 on the other edge. And hand sawing it really doesn't work, and the skill saw really doesn't work. So what I found is I go down to the wood shop, put it on the radial arm saw. If I'm just trying to take a little bit off right here, then I'll make it so the saw doesn't hit the tip but glides right along it. I'll just check it before I turn it on, and then I'll slant this just a little bit in the groove on my base where the saw goes. I can see where it is, so I just slant it a little bit and I keep moving it, just angle it back and forth until I get it just right, and take a little bit off, angle it a little bit more if I need to take a little bit more off. But usually I check it in between each one, so that's why it took 5 times. So you have to get them both very close, and then you have to tweak the angle to get them right on. So the radial arm saw works really good for that, but you have to make your initial cuts because you can't put this 8-footer on your radial arm saw. So I have to make my initial cut. In this case, these two should be identical, so I'm going to cut them here and use it. But then for the next one, I'm going to have to start tweaking it a little bit, because it should be, according to my edge there, it should be 3/4 of an inch longer. So I might be able to measure that, make sure it's 3/4 of an inch or an inch, whatever it is, adjust the length of it. So if I'm doing that one, it's actually going to be this way more on that end. But I'll have to make sure it matches and then check my angles again. Once I have the template, then I'll put an X on it and use that template for all the rest of them. Now, assuming my house is all straight, square, parallel, then all of them should work. Of course, there could be variations along there, and we're going to mark the bottom. So I already marked the bottom right here. Turns out it's 42.5 inches down from the soffit. Now the soffit, that's assuming the soffit runs perfectly level, which hopefully it doesn't very much. But we'll go by this 42.5 inch for the bottom tip, and then I'll go up there and get a measurement for the top tip once we get this next one on, or even before, because I can get it off that one right there. I'll do that. Then I'll go through and mark every other one, because that's where the supports are going to go. So we'll have a mark on the top and the bottom, and then we can start putting them in. And I've been using screws on the bottom because we're going through pine and then plywood, and I feel the screws are going to hold in that plywood really good. And then for the top, I've been nailing it, but pre-drilling them so I'm not splitting any of the wood, because we are going in tight. So even though this was green lumber, since we're going in so tight there, I have been pre-drilling these. It makes it a little faster and less likely to split. It's not very likely to split being green. But then on the other end, I was kind of lazy and I did not do that, and they've been nailing fine. So, but I have more time. Although you do see a little bit of a split on that one right there. But then I don't see any on any of the others. So pre-drilling is definitely the best, and blunting the end also is best, but with green lumber you don't really have to do that all the time, especially nailing through here. Okay, so that's my 2 cents on support cutting, and let's get back to work.